Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for being here for our Rev question of the week. My name is Evan. I'm the middle school director here at New Heights.
I'm Selena.
We're married. This is our house. I'll try and show you as best as I can. That's our little living room, and this is our kitchen, and that's pretty much all there is to see. So let me just fix this camera again. Well, thanks for being here. Basically, every Tuesday night, we're going to try and answer some of your guys' questions. I'm going to post the phone number down in the description below where you guys can text in your questions. A lot of you guys texted in questions last week. We're going to get to 2 of them today. So we're going to try and do 2 to 3 every week. It just depends on the weight of the question or how complicated it is. But me and Sarah are going to do 2 this week. I'm going to get her more into the frame. So, okay, we're going to start, though, with a game, okay? And I'm going to ask you guys to play along with us, okay? The game is called Over Under. And I'm going to basically read 4 statistics of things that people are doing during quarantine a ton, like video games, going outdoors, Netflix, and reading, I think it is. And so I'm going to basically ask Selena how much she thinks we do these things as a couple, and then you at home, you guys can follow along too, okay? So the first one, we're gonna start with Netflix, okay? And this is a pretty crazy statistic, okay? On average, Netflix viewers, okay, so this is all across the world together, watch 140 million hours of content a day. 140 million! That's crazy, okay? So that breaks down to each person, if they break it down like per subscriber, that each family or subscription or household watches 2 hours of Netflix a day. All right, now here's where it comes down to, okay? You need to say over or under. What does your family do? Do you guys do over that or do you do under that? Selena, what do you think?
Well, is that like all streaming or just Netflix?
Well, I don't know. However you want to answer.
Because we've been watching a lot of Hulu, so I don't know if that counts.
Yes, we've been watching a lot of The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever watched that, but I would say because of quarantine, would you say over?
Yeah.
I would say most nights. I mean, you saw our house. There's not a lot to do right now, so I'll get done working here at the table, and we'll go sit on the couch and read or something. And okay, so we're gonna say over for 2 hours. I'm curious to hear what you said. You guys should comment below. Tell us how many hours you spend watching Netflix. Okay. Here's the second question. This one's kind of depressing. This is outdoors. This is, she's already laughing. So how many hours or moments outdoors does the average American spend? Okay. Now, something really shocking is that it says that Americans on average only spend 6% of their entire life outdoors. That's like kind of sad. That's kind of sad to me. And it says that the average American spends only 8 minutes a day outside. 8 minutes, guys! What? And it's nice outside. Okay, so we're gonna play over under. I'll let Selena answer for herself because I feel like I spend over.
Yesterday I didn't go outside at all.
A single time?
Probably,
that's good.
like,
we need to go outside more.
Yeah.
Go on a walk, go play. But the problem is I like to do things. Like I like to play basketball or play frisbee, and I can't do anything like that right now. So like you can't even throw a frisbee. I don't know. Yeah, so all those things are shut down. So yeah, we need to go outside more. So I think, would you say you're under?
Yeah.
You're under. I would say I'm definitely over. Okay, the next one we're gonna do is reading. Okay, we're gonna do some reading. Okay, here's how it says. It says that the average American spends 17 minutes a day reading. I'm definitely over.
I would say over, because that's not just sitting down and reading. Like you can read a lot of things throughout the day.
I don't think social media counts.
But I'm not saying social media, but like I'm a teacher, so if I'm sending emails and reading emails, that like I would say.
I think it means recreational.
Okay, well, then I'm probably under. But some days I read a lot, and some days I don't read at all.
Yeah.
So.
I would say I'm for sure over. I read a lot. I like to read. Okay, and then the final one is going to be video games. And Selena, you haven't played as much video games lately.
No.
No.
Evan got me a Switch for Christmas, which was super duper nice, and I probably went through a phase where I played like every day for a lot, and then now it's kind of not my favorite.
Yeah. Okay, so these statistics are going to be per week. Okay, so you guys answer at home over or under. on average, the American young adult, so high school, middle school, college age, whatever, young adult, spends 7 hours a week playing video games, so like an hour a day. Maybe you don't play one day and you play 2 hours another day. I'm probably over during this season. For sure, I'm over. I play a lot of Rocket League, okay? So if you play Rocket League, it's a fun game. You should definitely check it out. But yeah, I would say probably over. I think that I feel like a lot of routines for everyone are just kind of up in the air. You know what I mean? Trying to find new ways to exercise, have fun, hang out with friends. All of that is kind of hard right now. So yeah, so I think to summarize, we were over on video games. We were over on Netflix.
All the technology.
We were under on outdoors. And I was over on reading. Okay, that's good to know. Guys, I'm excited to hear what you guys were. So tell us if you were over under on which of those statistics we're really excited to see. And we want to now jump into a couple questions that we have this week. And when you guys text in questions, they come in anonymously. So we don't know who sends them in. If you want to tell us who you are, feel free to just say at the end of the text message, this is so-and-so. If you want it to be anonymous, that's totally okay. I'm not going to go searching, trying to find out who it is. It's totally okay to ask questions anonymously. If that's why you haven't reached out and asked questions, like, don't let that be a barrier. We think it's really good to ask tough questions. If you guys didn't see last week's Rev question of the week, it's actually on our Instagram page. We've moved it to YouTube just because it's like a longer form. And I think more of you guys have YouTube than Instagram anyways. So we're going to be doing that on YouTube. And if you haven't watched Student Ministries Online, you should definitely check that out. Okay, so I'm going to ask the first question. And Slyn, I'm interested to hear your viewpoints on this. Okay. I think it's not really a viewpoint, but here's the first question. Someone texted in on last Wednesday, what was before God? What was before God? Okay, I think that's a really interesting question. I think actually, thankfully, this is one of those questions that's going to have a pretty easy answer for you. And so sometimes when we ask tough questions, they're tough because we don't really understand. I think this is one of those questions that I think there's just a misunderstanding of who God is. And I think once we understand who God is, we have the answer to our question pretty clearly, okay? So I want you, when you're watching this video, I don't know if you're in your living room or maybe you're outdoors enjoying the sunny day. Either way, everything you see, right, is physical, right? The entire universe that makes up everything that we see, all matter, energy, time, space, right? Everything that you can see, feel, not feel, everything that you see makes up the universe, right? Everything. It's kind of crazy to think about. Your skin and the time and all of it is part of the universe. Well, what's incredible, guys, is the universe actually began at a specific point in time. It hasn't existed forever, okay? So it has, at some point in the past, began to exist. Does that make sense to you guys? If you have questions, you can always follow up with me. But I just want you to understand that first, that the universe, all units of matter, time, space, and energy, those things that you guys have been learning about in science class, all those things make up the universe. And the universe, at one point in the past, began to exist. It's fascinating. It's really amazing how scientists can look up into space and see that the universe is expanding. It's crazy. It's getting bigger. And that's weird to think about, right? That space is getting bigger. Like that's crazy to think about. But what that tells us, because it had a point in the past, that means that something had to cause it to exist. And that's who God is. God is outside the universe. He's timeless. He's spaceless, right? He's non-physical. God is outside of everything that makes up the universe. Does that make sense to you guys? He is eternal. He's uncaused. Nothing created him. He has existed forever in the past, and he's going to exist forever in the future. He's existed forever, eternally. And I just think that that's crazy to think about. And when we recognize that, so when we think about the question, what was before God? Nothing was before God. God has always been there and always will be there. I just said a lot.
No,
do you have any thoughts on that? Anything to add?
I mean, I also thought about that question when I was younger. I don't know if you did.
Yeah,
And
totally. I think
that
it's a
as
profound
you get older,
question.
that like answer like makes a little bit more sense as you learn more about God's character and who God is. But
Yeah, totally. And this isn't just a question that middle school students ask. I think tons of adults ask this question. I think it's a question that everybody asks at some point. You know, like who was before God? And I think it's incredible for us to say that nothing was. You know, God is the eternal. He's the eternal being. He's eternal. He's been there forever. And I love that because when we think about that question, who was before God, it leads us to want to put our trust in him because God's been there forever. He's all knowing, all powerful, and he's good, thankfully. You know, and that makes it all the better. So I think that's great. So hopefully that answers your question. If you have a follow-up question, maybe you texted that in, text us back, tell us whether or not we answered your question or not. And we'd love to hear from you. Okay, question number 2 is how do I put God first when everything else in life is going wrong? How do I put God first when everything else in life is going wrong? I think that's a really reasonable question, and I think it's something that's totally okay to ask. So, Selena, I don't know if you want to take the lead on that one.
yeah, I mean, I have like a personal relationship with God, and I put my hope in God, and everything in my life still doesn't go like as I want it to, and it doesn't go perfectly. Obviously I'm married to Evan, and that's a very important relationship to me, but like God's relationship is even more important to me. So it's like even when things are going wrong, I might want to like go to Evan and talk all about it, but I know that I need to go to my major relationship, which is with God. So I think a personal relationship and having hope in God can like help with all of those things, but it doesn't mean all the other problems like diminish or disappear.
So you explains that you do put God first when everything else is going wrong, but how do you do that?
I think it's just like knowing that he's my hope when other things aren't going as they should. And I don't always do perfectly with that. It's really hard to like put God first, but I know that like my hope in him and my personal relationship needs to come before other things. And I think that, you know, Evan like pushes me towards that. So it's like having those other relationships that help you focus on the main one helps as well. I don't know. Did you have anything to like add to that?
No, I think that makes sense. I think that there's going to be times where life feels really sucky. And I think right now, life is probably really sucky for many of you. Maybe you have parents that are struggling with work. Maybe you're feeling anxious or depressed. Life can feel really hard sometimes. I've been there. Selena's been there. And there's going to be times in the future in your life. Maybe life's great for you right now, which is awesome, by the way. There might be times in the future, and I would probably count on it, where life is not going to feel great, and it's going to feel like everything is going wrong. And the question is, how do I put God first? I think first and foremost, I think you have to recognize, like Selena's saying, that God is someone you can trust, right? Someone that you should put first. I think that's clear. But how you do it, I think a lot of it is you just have to take a deep breath and just surrender that need to have everything immediately figured out. I think sometimes when things are going wrong, I'm so anxious to have a solution to all of my problems immediately that it actually keeps me from putting my trust in God, and it actually keeps me from peace in the end. I think that peace from God can come to us even when times are really, really tough. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a time in your life where you feel like that was really evident for you?
What was evident?
Having the peace of the Lord even when things are going really wrong.
I think a lot of instances when it comes to college and like moving or that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, totally. I think about a time in my life where there's been family troubles or friends or anything like that. I've chosen, when I say how do I put God first, it's choosing to first like pray about it, read scripture, tell a friend. I think that those are some good ways you can actively put the Lord first, and coming to him and saying, Lord, I'm going to let go of control and I'm going to just trust you. And I'm going to trust you to put my peace and find my peace in you. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us for this week's Rev Question of the Week. Coming to you once again live from my very luxurious apartment. We're super happy you guys joined us. We hope you guys also are watching once again our services on Thursday. We're really excited. Hopefully you guys are missing connecting with others, because we're launching something super exciting with Rev called Zoom groups, basically where you guys are going to sign up to be in small groups together through online community like this. I think that us connecting online, I think it's going to be like this for a while, guys. And I think we got to find ways to connect with each other, and we got to make sure that we're hanging out together and still investing in each other's relationships, even when we're at home playing hours of Netflix and video games and reading and barely going outside. Okay, so look for updates on that this week, and I hope you guys sign up. Okay, we'll see you guys later. Bye.